Hi, welcome to the Georgia Pacific Green Bay Broadway wastewater treatment plant. My name is Tim Luke, and I went to school to be an environmental scientist, and now I clean water for a living. Here at Green Bay Broadway, when we recycle waste paper into tissue, we use a lot of water, and it's my job and my technician's job to clean up that water before we discharge it back into the Fox River. When we clean water, there are two types of dirt or contaminants that we have to get out of the water. The first kind is called heavy primary solids. You can actually see some of them over my shoulder here in the clarifier. The second kind is called BOD, but you cannot see that. Do you know how gravity helps us clean water? When we remove heavy primary solids, the water is pumped into a giant tub or clarifier where the solids are allowed to slowly settle out. Gravity is actually pulling those solids to the bottom of the clarifier. Once it gets there, we pump the solids to a different point in the treatment process. The second kind of contamination or dirt that we have to remove from the water column is called BOD. BOD is a measure of the organic strength of the water. I have a question for you. Have you ever heard of a good bacteria? Believe it or not, there actually are good bacteria. We use bacteria to actually eat the BOD in the water column. They're the actual mechanism that cleans the water for us. The bacteria that consume the BOD in the aeration basins are very temperature sensitive. So we utilize structures we call cooling towers to cool the water as it goes into the next step of the process. The bacteria also need nutrients to survive, just like people need vitamins and minerals to survive. We add phosphorus and nitrogen. Once the bacteria have consumed the BOD in the water is almost ready to go back in the Fox River, but strangely, we have to remove the bacteria from the water, otherwise they themselves will become pollution. And the mechanism we use to do that is, once again, our good old friend gravity. The bacteria are settled out in another clarifier, it's called a secondary clarifier, and pumped back in the process to consume more BOD. We're not quite done yet. After we've settled out all our good bacteria and pumped them back into the process, we have to remove one more thing from the water column, and that's the phosphorus we added earlier to help the bacteria survive. Once again, our good old friend gravity helps us pull the remainder of the small solids out of the water, and the water is then sent to the Fox River. One of the byproducts of cleaning the water here at Georgia Pacific is wastewater sludge. It's composed mainly of the paper fibers that were too short for us to recapture and use to make tissue. We generate almost 500 tons a day of this sludge. That's more than 50 dump truck loads. Do you have any idea what we could do with all of this stuff? Did you know that the water we discharge back to the Fox River here at Georgia Pacific is actually cleaner than the water we take in? People talk about making a difference in the environment every day. Luckily, I get to do that as part of my job here at Georgia Pacific.